is on.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jeff Lyons, and thanks for joining me on the Friday at lunch web session that I have about every 2 weeks. Is on the how to import a mobile inspection data set into civil infrastructure models using Builterra. So a workflow that I don't think exists outside the Builterra world. So what you're going to be seeing is a lot of interesting procedures and examples of how to import the mobile data that you collect in the field into the AutoCAD Civil 3D environment. From Civil 3D, we can take it into Navisworks or InfraWorks or even the Esri shapefile if you need to. Let's get started. And if you have any questions, I've got everybody muted, so you can text in the chat if you have any questions. There's should be a chat window. Just ask the question and I'll answer it when I see it pop up. So let's today's session. If you're having trouble, again, just chat in the window and I can deal with it when it happens. This is the agenda for today, and it's usually a fairly detailed agenda. Probably take about 45 minutes to go through. Some time at the end for questions if you have any. So for those who don't know what Builterra is, and I see that we've got some new viewers, I'll go through the overview, and then we'll get started with the details of how to get this mobile data into AutoCAD. All right. So this is the presentation I normally do, which shows you what Builterra. It'll take you from Design CAD all the way through to As-Built GIS. Now, of course, this session doesn't talk about tender certificates, but what it does deal with is these two items in the data flow. So we're going to, for our connected iPad or Android device, to collect the data and then import it into the CAD environment. So the Builterra platform is very map-centric. It uses a Bing map. What you're seeing there is, and in this session, we'll actually talk about how to import the shapefiles for overlay into your project. So every project, you have project details in the lower panel, and of course the map location. This is the inspection piece here, and quite a bit of detail today. And we'll be going through how the forms are set up and how to theme it, how to import it into CAD. The photo map is always a good feature that people like to see. It means that every photo you capture is going to be stored in the Builterra site, and you can zoom around the world photos and find out who took the shot and why. The cost estimating and the tendering platform, sessions already on that. If you're looking for more information, we've already done about 2 or 3 webcasts in the last month or two. Shows how we can quickly go from a cost estimate into a bid preparation package and then out to payment. And there's a shot of the editor right there and the cost estimating system. Exporting to Excel for the bidders. So that's the end of the Builterra platform overview. And now we can get started. So inspection form configuration, I thought I would deal with this to start with, as it has a do with how to import things into CAD. So we have to understand, a couple of settings here before we start doing a lot of data collection and then it bought correctly. Okay, so inspection form configuration. The first thing is we're going to review what type is available in Builterra. It's not just a single data entry form type. A lot of other mobile apps in the market, a list of attributes, and you fill it in and submit it. Ours has 3 separate types of forms. These forms start off with simple. That's what we're going to look at today because it is the simplest form. It's basically like an attribute list and varies. You can put together something like this in a few minutes. In fact, all of these forms are really just extensions of the with columns, and they all sync to your phone. So we'll see that in a second. The table form is the concept of a single table to a form, and this example here was the lot inspection form that we had put together. And it basically has what we call a parent form. In other words, it's a lot inspection, but then it has a list of many, many defects. In this case, deficiencies. And when you select on the defects, you'll see all of the line items for these defects. You can put together your own list of deficiencies. And the good thing about this kind of form is if you use a unique identifier, lot number or defect number, you can track the historical collection of that using Builterra mobile app. They bring up lot 25 and update the records and submit it back. So every time you visit, basically that's why we call it a table, is every time you visit, you're updating the deficiencies, and then you're continually resubmitting and updating. At the end of the job, you'll have a history of every and a roll-up report with all the most latest deficiencies. The multi-table form is very popular. This is our daily. It doesn't have to be a daily inspection. It could be any form with multiple tables. As soon as we start adding multiple tables, we can then call it a single visit multi-table. So you'll have a parent inspection form, which is the basic information like site name and phase when you started it. And each table has its own list of attributes. And so you can put in as many tables as you want. So whenever we talk in the site, the inspection forms, it means that basically it's up to you what the inspector adds for data. So it could be extra work items. It could be anything that you want to add as an extra table to this, you can. It's completely okay, like I said, we're going to look at the single visit simple form today because it is the most common for what I would consider CAD entry. The utility, this is the one I like to show during my demos. I'm reusing it again because it really does hit home how and collecting utility data or structure data, example manhole inverts, can all be done through the simple form. Set up a simple form here called Testpit data. It's got all the attributes I need, including the northing, easting, and elevation attribute. So I'll go to a live view of that, and I'll just show you how easy it is to set up one of these attributes. Okay. And top and bottom, yeah, I forgot to mention that. It's basically a calculated field. So if you're doing mobile entry in the field, it automatically. You don't have to type in the top and the bottom. It uses, for example, the elevation and the depth. So if you know the elevation and you know the come up at least with the top, and if you know the size Y, you can come up with the bottom. So this is kind of how that's done in the. So we'll look at a live demo, and we'll keep an eye on the time. I always like to do that, make sure I don't have time for everything. And so what we'll do is we'll tab over to the website. Windows open today. Sorry about that. There we go. So there's the home of Builterra. So when you go ahead and log in, you should see this icon screen here. The projects are under the project menu here. zoom around, and if you want, you can type in a search word for a project. So you type in water job, and as a coincidence, it just happens to be exactly where I'm sitting today, here at Wentworth and Boundary. So this area right around here right now. So that's the job that we're going to add data to today. If we're looking at the inspection form information, you go to Inspections and then Configuration. Okay, so one of these forms will project. This is sort of a standard in your company. You don't have to make it project specific. It can be for every project. So data, there it is. So if you go to details, so basically you can look through this, and I noticed one thing during my thing. I noticed that before that at the top and the bottom calculated, that should really be probably around so you can change the order in which these things occur, and same as the bottom. So it's always nice to have the calculated fields before you the data. So that's something I noticed when we were doing it. And the surface type, we'll just make that 17, just to kind of move things around a little. Okay. So this is how it looks. If you wanted to put in an extra field here, you could put in same, and you could say the, surveyor name or something. Now I've just made that adjustment. This is how easy it is. You just have to add the field and then what type of data it is. In this case, a string field. If it was then you can make your own lookup list, and we'll get into that in another webcast at some point. So let's go ahead and save that. If we want to put the surveyor maybe right up top there, we'll say it's number 3. So there. Okay. So now that we've got that set up, on the phones, we can just, and then it'll be done. So if I get back to my PowerPoint, so we'll go through this now. This is how it looks on the Android phone, and this is the form that we just saw. And we'll do a live demo of that because, I'm sitting here in the office and I can probably get a good GPS reading here. And so we'll go through the mobile app. So I did do a step-by-step in case you watch this video later. Whenever you make or changes to the mobile form, it's always good to hit sync right there. So the sync button will update all of the system. It'll also submit forms that have been sitting in draft. So if you're on a Wi-Fi, you can sync and it'll send all the data back to if you're sitting in a coffee shop. You'll then go ahead and select the form, in this case, Testpit data. And then you can pick a project from the list, or there's a target there that allows you to pick the closest project to where you're standing. The get location option will get the, so when you go ahead and create a new inspection, and that means the weather, the latitude and the longitude, the weather, like overcast clouds, temperature, wind speed, this kind of thing. Define the report name, that's an option, or not. It's totally up to you. In this case, Testpit 101. The map feature will allow you to move the pointer around with your finger and get a little closer, because if you're not quite on where you think the Testpit is, you can move that around. Okay, this is not a survey device. This is just a Google type mapping thing. You can type in conflict ID. We'll be focusing on this quite a bit during the demo. Utility types, things like that. These are all lookup lists that you can on the phone. And then you simply submit. If you were to take pictures, you would go to the photo option and pick it from the gallery. And we'll do that live. And then once you submit, it's now on the site. So if I go to my phone here, I'm just going to fire up my casting device. Okay. And we'll go to Visor, find the device. Okay. Now it usually wants to show me some kind of advertisement because it's a freebie app that I downloaded. So we'll let that do that first before I drag it over. And okay, there it is right here. Yeah, it's showing me that right now. There's our app. It'll be cast okay. And so what we can do is we can then sync to the change I just made. Okay. Of course, this might mess up some of my demo data that I created this morning, so we'll see about that. You can pick the basic photo inspection. You can do that. Or you can pick the Testpit data right there. If I pick just the target here, right there, it comes up with municipal water because I'm sitting right in the office here, right nearby. So the municipal water, if I go to create inspection, it then goes ahead and starts up a brand new inspection for me. So if I go get location, it finds myself at this location, and you'll notice something different here. And normally put the location and that's it. In this case, it's actually showing the alignments that are close to me from Civil 3D. How the heck did it do that? So we'll show that in a second, okay? It's just that I had used this project in my setup, and of course I uploaded the alignments. And so if I pick the boundary road, that's the one I want right there. So I can pick number 7, and it gives me of 12 and an offset of, let me see here, 22. Okay. The report name, we'll say it's, just for fun, we'll put X101 and close that. So I'm just doing, if I go to the map, it's giving me an actual Google map of where I'm standing. It's actually very, very close. I'm right exactly there. So you can zoom in and move your finger around and kind of test bits right in the parking lot or something. So there's that. You can then go to the details. So if we go to X 101, okay, and the surveyor name, we could type in, JD Barnes or something. That spelling, okay? You need a lookup list for that. Yeah, we'll just do that. JD Barnes. This side of the street, the east side of the street, the section, you can say it's section 1 or phase. The utility type, say it's a sanitary, be a storm manhole or something. We'll say storm. The owner is going to be the region. Okay. We're going to leave the northern blank because the surveyor, we're going to get that from the survey company later. So the top depth, maybe if you measure the invert, it's 2.3 or something like this. And there's the width of the utility, maybe it's a 450. And you can put in the 450 here as well. And the shape would be a circle for a sewer. Field, you don't have to fill anything in. And then maybe some comments like we saw the, okay. There it is there. So I'm just doing this right on my phone right now. Surface type is maybe some part. Okay, and that should be good enough. So once you're happy with that, go ahead and take a picture. So we'll see if I can get a picture here. And taking a photo outside my window. That was smart. I didn't open the window of the balcony there. That's smart, Jeff. And we'll say it's from above. Good example. Okay, so save it. So we can do a little markup if we want. It does a little markup on this. If it restarts, it'll just go back to it, and we'll do a little markup again with a thick medium line. So we'll do blue. Okay, and you can do something like this, and we'll go ahead and save it. Oh, I exited out of there. Okay, so you get the idea. And so what we'll do is that just as is, okay? Okay, so it's all submitted. If you edit the data, you can always go back to what you call sent inspections, and you can reselect it by the details or the location or the photos afterwards. Okay, so if you made a mistake, you can go back anytime. So back on the website, what we'll do is we'll take a look at what we've got there. Okay, okay, we're just going through the PowerPoint here. Inspect for 3D. So this talks the alignments up. Sorry, I kind of bounced a bit too fast there. So what's going on is the alignments themselves. Maybe what we'll do the same thing with a brand new project so it'll confuse you. And so what we'll do is we'll go back to the website and we'll go on, and we'll just do a brand new project so we have a nice clean slate. And then you can see how that works. So if I said the project name was okay, and nice capitals there. And okay, and it's a municipal. And we'll say it's the Oshawa or something. Okay, and we'll type in boundary and worth. There it is. Search. Okay, and so there's the proper understanding. And so we can say it's Durham, okay. All right, go ahead and create a placeholder for this particular project, okay. And so there's the water main project right there. Nice fresh project. So let's go ahead and get the alignments pushed into this project. AutoCAD. There it is right there. So we have this AEC Inspect from our website when you're a subscriber. And so if you said open up, we have a drawing to around here. So I'm going to open that up right now. It's sitting on my desktop. So there's the test area right there. Okay, and so this has got some contours, existing ground. It's got a couple of maybe level D, something like that, and then some alignments. So here's the alignments here. So if we go to the first step, import, upload the alignments, we can type in demo, and we can type in tests. Okay, good, on the test site. And so what it is then we can pick the municipal water or whatever project is I think it was called the P18. Just 2 seconds. Okay. Water main. Okay, and maybe what we'll do is we'll I think you have to add an inspect, so we'll just put it on the other project. I'm sorry. We'll go to municipal water. We've already got some alignment, some new alignments. And so basically you can just grab some other alignments that are part of the same project area. And there they are. And it goes ahead and submits them back to the website. And now we've got more as part of the project. Okay. So now that that's been done, it will register closest alignment to where I'm sitting. So that's the idea, is you'll upload these alignments back on the app. You might get a different alignment if we've uploaded more here. Let me just check it out. And okay, there's visor. Just reconnects. So it always does that whenever you leave it for a second. So basically we've re-uploaded the same project. If we escape and you go ahead and do the sync, it will find, and we'll just go ahead and log in here. Get rid of the advertising. Okay. And good enough. So it'll go ahead and sync as soon as you relog in. And when we go in and create the new inspection, you'll see more alignments show up in the list. Okay. So if we go ahead and pick the Testpit again, the municipal water, or we can do that one, create new inspection, get location. Or more alignments that can show up here. Maybe this one here, this is I think that's a new one there. And that will come out in the report to the station. So there's that. Okay, and then the details here. So it's just a matter of going to Civil 3 goes to the project. All right. So go back out of there. And next here on the PowerPoint. So we're uploading the alignments. Good. Thing is, when you are using Civil 3D, it's always, you have to have a UTM system assigned to the drawing before you upload, just so then when it goes mapping, it knows how to translate between the UTM and the latitude and the longitude. Very important. Pick the project, upload the alignments by selecting them on screen. There it is. So I'm a little off with the PowerPoint, but that gets the point across. The inspection portal now is where you'll see the data starting to. So live demo with inspections in the portal. Okay. So what we'll do is back to the portal. And before I get started, I'm just going to add a quick inspection to this project here, and just called water main. And just so we can get the ball, how on a brand new project, it's going to import the data as a single point using latitude and longitude. Where we get involved with too many survey points. So if I said B001 is the bell, the map is good, the location, details, we can fill in, you know, B001, I'll make it capitals. Okay, good. We can just leave all of this blank for now. Maybe we'll fill in the utility type so it colors up nicely. So we'll say it's a bell. There's bell. And let's say it's again on the east side of the street. Good enough. And so now we've made one inspection for this new project. So it's already been submitted. Okay, good. So when I go to the inspections, you'll see now that the water main project has Testpit data, and there it is. So when I zoom to it, it's pulling in the exact location of where I'm sitting, which is great. There it is. Okay, so that's my shot. If I want to go ahead and import this into AutoCAD, that's what Sessions is all about. We're going to show you how to edit this data for surveying and get it into AutoCAD. Okay, so there's, okay. Adding a shapefile overlay. So we talked about having some data that was a level D, just 2D approximate location, or even survey. It's just line work. So let's go ahead and put a shapefile into the background of that inspection data so we can see how far away our actual when we get into AutoCAD. So if I go to the AutoCAD editor, sorry about that. There. So here's our data here. This is our bell line that we're looking to see how close we are to that. So bell. What you have to do is you may have to make a shapefile from that. So just like we had done before, you have to make sure that the setting, the UTM system, a part of that. So the UTM, that's what we support right now, is the UTM systems. If you need an MTM or something else, just add it. Okay, so UTM is what we're supporting. And so what's happening is you can create a shapefile using the map export Civil 3D. Okay, and this will create an Esri shapefile from this data. So if I were to a GIS folder, and we'll just call it Bell just for fun. Okay. That, we'll say it's the Bell lines. Okay, so it's a shapefile. These are lines. You can pick them one by layer. So we can pick all this Bell. And as far as data, all you have to do is add one unique field, our product, to import it. The options, you have to convert it to lat long 84, right there. So if you can remember, that's in the PowerPoint, by the way, then you can say, okay, and it just created a shapefile for the bell. When you go to the site now, again, the inspection portal, you want to overlay that bell line into here and then maybe move the pointer over. What you can do is you go back to the project definition for this particular water project. And so when you go, okay, there's a thing called general information right there. So when you take the general information, option called overlay right here. So overlay means that we can grab a shapefile and import it into our Bing map. To the desktop, and you go to GIS Bell, and it's looking for the shapefile right there. And this SE, all three. This is what gets created from Civil 3D. Okay, so as long as you have the right extension, and then add, and so basically it's added a nice little shapefile line right here that represents. When you go to features, you can then show it in the inspection portal and in the project portal. It's Bell, you want to make it maybe Burleywood or something like this, so you'd save it. So you can make a different color and something that's in the background. So if we go back to, for example, the inspection portal, okay, so that should show up now. project. So if we go ahead and go to the inspection portal, there's our bell line right there, and it's going to import the data. See, I'm sitting in my office here. We really want it over there, but we'll import it anyway, and yeah, it'll be fun to. This bell line comes in, and it shows our bell test pit right here. So let's go back to the track everything with the PowerPoint, and this, you can download this or the video and through all the steps that I just went through. Okay. Yeah, so we're just basically importing, in this case, the gas shapefile. There it is right there. We're putting a color on it, and there's the bell and the gas together. So you can have more than one shapefile all loaded at the same time. Okay. So what you want to do is you may have editing on this data. So what I would like to do is I'm going to quickly add data just through Excel and populate the map here. When you go to edit the data, you can use these two buttons. One will push all of the information, all the inspection data to you, give you a template so you can cut and paste from another file or fill it in manually. Okay, so when you export all of this data for all of your inspections, so you can go ahead and add all of this. You can write formulas to do the top and bottom, change things batch mode, just all very quickly. So if you inadvertently made a mistake on the name of Enbert, called it gas or something instead, you can flip these things around and save it back to the spreadsheet. When you save it back to the you then just use this black button right beside the two Excel buttons to re-import it all, so you can tons of data all at once when you do the inspection. Okay, this is not how you do the survey merge. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Okay, so the batch updating will then update all of the data in real time. Our customers, by the way. So if I was to go back to the inspection portal, just this one little point here, and say there's the data right there. If you go ahead and pick Testpit data, you'll get there it is here. You can go ahead and then download full inspection data. So if you grabbed all of that and open it in Excel, okay, then this is what you would get, just like that. Okay, so if you were to, the depth is 1.2, the size is a 600 by 600. If it's a record. And then the top you don't know, the bottom you don't know. You could type in, added later or something, whatever you want. Parking. Okay, so you can add all this information. You can even cut and paste this, like this, because maybe it wasn't just Bell, maybe there was a Rogers line that's sitting on top of it. So you could say it was also a Rogers there. It was a CATV and Rogers. I mean, this is pretty manual, but say it's only a meter deep and it's 100 and it's a circle, something like this. So you can go ahead and add this data as you see fit. Do this for manholes where they want to preload it with a bunch of manhole data and then update it using the device. So it's a reason why we do it. So you can do all of this, and if we tweak the a bit, you can see that it'll all come out a little different location here too. So it literally follows all of the changes you made, and you can re-upload it to the system. Okay, so you would save it, and then you would then use this feature here to upload them. So this is under probably a downloads. There's the Testpit data that I just downloaded. And did one and then added 6. So now you've got all of this new data that was added just through Excel, something like that. And, of course, it's all pretty close in the northings and easting lat long area, that's for sure. Okay, so and then all of this data is filled how you did it right through Excel. So that's how you batch update. Really handy, by the way. When you want to do a survey, I'll show you how to do that. And we're just checking the time here. We've only got about 5 more minutes left, so I kind of spent a little too much time. So on the survey merge, go back to our demo project. There's already some data here. And this data, we're to go ahead and just quickly look at that. It's already got the eastings in here, but we'll go ahead and remerge the data anyway with the sample file I have. I'll show you how that works. So when you pick test hole, all you have to do is make sure that the object matches the description of the survey, the name of the inspection. So when you go to Testpit data, just let it load up here. There's a CSV option here. This allows you to go ahead and pick a survey file, and that's sitting in my data survey, the survey file right there. And what this does is there's using this, whatever format the survey file is in, you get to now pick and say, okay, this is the northing, this is the northing here. So it's not a coincidence that I named it the same in the form. The elevation is here, and the description is ID, and that's our key field. So the key field lets you merge the survey data right there with all of the data that's already been selected. Here, go out and collect all these points and then merge it later. And when you do that, when you reselect, all of the data is then updated. It's just as easy as that. So if you had a new surveyor go out and pick up this information, this is all happening merge. Okay. And of course, you'll notice that when you do merge the survey, all the if there's a UTM assigned, it will actually move to the as-built. So I did that for a reason in this sample, is the markers will actually let the cell phone location to the actual location. And once we have that, then we know we can safely import everything back into AutoCAD. So for our AutoCAD, okay, so there's our PowerPoint showing settings you have to set to import it into AutoCAD. That's what we're talking about. We're getting a nice clean survey on that now, and it's moving over. Okay. The AutoCAD import is really just a click of a button now. So if we go ahead and demo that, we're getting out of time. So in Civil 3D, if I close this down, and we'll open a drawing kind of set up for that import test. It was already kind of there. Okay, so the import happens by, so all of these markers come in using the AC Inspect app, import data, and you can just type in the, okay, so it loads the data, say the municipal water, and you go to Testpit data, so it's loading the survey corrected points, and you can bring in the util, you can bring it in a certain elevation is correct, right? And the layer suffix may be utility type, and block with attributes, an automatic block, or you can use one that you've already created. In this case, I've already created one called TP marker, right? It's a little marker with attributes. As long as the attributes match that form attribute, it'll come in. You can also import Kogo point. So when you go ahead and import inspections, I won't do it because I've already done it in this sample, it will come in and you'll get this, or this is a gas and this is the gas here. So what I did is I did it twice. I did it once for the top elevation, the ground elevation, and I reran the routine a second, the utility. So now you're getting this kind of thing where you have a 3D representation of that Testpit data right there. Okay, and so a few more minutes here. So we'll take that data and that'll go directly into Navisworks. Just go back to the thing, back to the PowerPoint here. Okay, so we're getting into the data, we're exporting it, importing it. That's the generic one. We can set up a custom utility block here, just the shape essentially. And then we'll import, and then we get a proper looking thing. So I just demoed that live for you, and you saw that. Live demo, I just did it. If you're looking to project this data into a profile view, again, Civil 3D is an awesome tool for this. I'm not just for but what you would do is you would take your bell line here and you would make it an alignment. So if you go home, you can make the alignment from an object. So right there, that's our bell. And you can say it's bell 1, and there's no looking good. And so now we have a Civil 3D alignment for the bell line right there. And then you can do that. So we'll run a nice little surface profile across our existing ground. Good. And we'll draw the view. Great. This is a nice profile view right there. So if I want to project the top and bottom of the utility into there, then I just have to select it all. So I can say top shots, select. So it's picked all of my top shots here. All right. And for the sake of time, we'll project objects to profile view. We can grab it and say OK. The label style, I've already created style for that. So you'll say it's the TP right there. So when you bring it all in, that's exactly where the Testpit falls, our surface. If we do the same thing for the underground shots, select similar. We'll just do that, select, and we'll go ahead and do the profile, project points to profile view. And we'll go ahead and pick this guy. And then in this case, I style called top, and that's a different looking style that pushes the top of the thing in. So this is all done. The data was collected using, corrected with survey, brought into a profile view. From there, this data can move to InfoWorks or Navisworks, export to Navisworks, or a map export to InfoWorks. And we're kind of out of time, so I'll just show you what that might look like. That's a final shot. All of those bubbles are all of our test pits from the mobile device. If you can have tooltips, you can stylize it differently. If we had a few more minutes, I would show you how that's done, but I think we're running out of time. That's the exporting of the file to info. Again, the map export command to SDF, and you would take the TP markers as part of that export. All these test pits automatically coming in as an SDF or a shapefile, and kind of blasted through that last bit, but essentially that's the import function. It's very simplistic once you have corrected the data, and that's kind of where I'm at with this demo. If you have any questions, you know, I can go offline and show you more Civil 3D or InfoWorks, Navisworks at any time. And that's kind of how it looks in 3D. If you have any questions on the chat window, and I can answer them. If you have any questions that you want to ask offline, just call me direct and I can call you back. Yeah. When you say local coordinate, here's the question. Do you support the use of local coordinate systems. I'm going to say we do support UTM right now. If you want MTM or something, we would have to add it to our system. We're not like Autodesk where it has every single coordinate system in the planet. So you just tell us what you want and we'll add it to the system. As long as the drawing can support it, we can support it. Scaled and shift, for an example, shifted UTM system into a local system. Okay, good question. Questions from viewer 11. So basically, a scaled and shifted UTM system into the local system. Right now, it just uses data for every single inspection is latitude and longitude. And if you have when you say a local system, if you mean an arbitrary system, then put it into some kind of UTM and then scale and move it, just like a block. I think that's what you're talking about. Alignments are not synced directly. You have to delete them from Builterra and then re-import them from CAD. So right now they're not synced. You'd have to delete them from Builterra and then re-upload them. Good question. Good. And if there's any more questions, here's another one. Halton Region, thank you for asking. What is the horizontal and vertical accuracy? So right now, if you're using the survey data file, it comes directly from survey. If it's strictly a mobile shot, then it's only good within about 3 meters, and you don't have any. So when you're doing a cell phone shot, it's really just latitude and longitude. That's why we had to build the survey. Okay, so if you have any more questions, you just go ahead and email me or call me direct at 289-928. Otherwise, I'll see you in a couple weeks. Thank you.